Hi there, me again. So we're gonna do a another one, not a week one video, but a rehab related video. So I did a video earlier on positive attitude equals positive results. This one's gonna be called determination. So we've done some of the week ones, which are basically what it was like in the first week, week and a half, maybe two of the stroke. There's a distinctive reason why I didn't do any videos during that period, as I was stuttering, and 20 to 30 minutes at times was about as much as my brain could handle for attention. So doing a video could have been just like squawk. So let's talk about your rehab. So we've talked about positive attitude equals positive outcome, or a better likelihood of a positive outcome. Let's talk about determination. Rehab isn't easy. Right? Let me just say that again for those in the back that missed it. Rehab is not easy, right? So you're going to have a lot of dates that you have to maintain. So now this is my experience. So I have been to and completed occupational therapy. I may need to go back for one last assessment, but that'll be like an end game thing. I've been to my speech path twice, I believe. And I can't tell you how many times I've been to see my physiotherapist. 3 times a week on average, 2 to 3 times, right? And then I'm going to start seeing a psychologist just to put some of this in perspective, right? So there are 4 clinical people that I have to see or have had to see to ensure my rehab. Now then, I'm going to be honest, I've been off physiotherapy for about a week and a bit, and I've slacked. I have had no motivation to do anything. And what little I have done is not really of any consequence. It's probably just a plateau. Right? Nothing really to worry about. But then again, look at it this way. If you're not determined to get better, now what better is in this instance is completely subjective, right? And that all depends on where your stroke left you after the stroke had concluded, right? So if you've had an ischemic stroke, right, which is the little blood clot to the brain, or plaque, right, and you got to the hospital quickly, and you got the wonder drug, right, the Drano for your brain, there's a high likelihood you're going to come out of this pretty decent, right? If it's one of the transient ischemic attacks, a TIA, little microstroke, right? Which mine was not a TIA. I thought it was. I was told it was not. The actual stroke, just mini, fun-sized. Now, if it's hemorrhagic, that has more complications. Let's just set the bar for reality, right? So we're not mixing our terms up here. So if you've had a fairly healthy, forgive the pun, hemorrhagic stroke, you're going to need a lot of determination. Because, I'm sorry to say, you're probably going to be in a rehab facility for a while, right? Because hemorrhagic is the one where your brain bleeds. So mine was an ischemic stroke. It was not transient. It was an ischemic stroke that was fairly minor on the continuum of strokes. But I'm still trying to resolve my old normal to my new normal, right? If you happen to see the video, new normal to new normal meet old normal, right? Where I'm playing airsoft. That's a little 10 to 15 minute vignette of an entire day. That would have been after I'd taken probably about an hour's break from playing because my brain was like, hey, idiot, stop that. So you've got to be determined to do a couple of things. One, you've got to be determined to show up to rehab. I don't know what it's like where you are, but the clinic I go to, if I miss 2 or 3 appointments, they discharge me, right? And I have to fight to get back in. If you don't get to rehab, you're not going to challenge yourself, right? If you don't challenge yourself, you're not going to find a wall. Find that next obstacle, right? There's going to be obstacles, and you've got to be determined to go look for them. And start some of my rehab right now, I'm actually looking for the obstacles. Hence going into crowded, noisy places, right? Because I got to find out where my stressor point is, and then I got to hang around longer than I want to, right? So, and you're thinking, well, that sounds stupid. I'm like, well, no, not really. Think about it. Right? I'm determined to get through this crowds and noise stupidity. Right? I'm determined to do it. How I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it. The only way I can do that is go into crowded, noisy places and hang out for a while. I can't guarantee what that looks like. I can do at the Buck and Doe. I was probably good up until about an hour, hour and a half, and then my brain was like, "Hey, asshole, you need to leave. Like, leave now." And I'm like, "Nope, we're staying. We are completely staying. I'm gonna ride this puppy into the ground and see what happens." So that's what I did. I went, stayed for a while, longer than I thought I should, mainly because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it, and I was willing to accept the consequences later. Part of the determination is getting out of bed in the morning, right? And I realize if you are in a rehab facility and you're going to be there for a while, getting out of bed is going to be a challenge every single day because you're not in your own bed. There are new noises to have to deal with. There are new sounds to deal with. The food is probably, something you don't want to wake up to. So if that is the case for you, I'm sorry, right? And I understand completely that you probably don't want to be there, but that is what it is. And there's not much I can do for you in that regard. Now then, another thing you need to be determined about is be determined to work on your activities. So your physiotherapist is going to give you things to do, right? You have to do them. I still practice crossing my feet, mainly to prove to her I can do it. I know I'm never going to get good at it. So I'm a white guy that has a really bad overbite. If it wasn't for doing the Carlton or the Rick Astley, I probably couldn't dance at all. So, yeah. If I knew how to edit, I'd put Rick Astley here, followed by Carlton there. But I don't know how to do that yet. I'm still learning how to do that. Now then, what else do you need to be determined about? You need to be determined that you have goals, right? We'll get into goal setting later, right? Because goal setting for someone that's had a stroke is not the same type of goal setting. You're going to use the SMART, an acronym, but it doesn't look the same. At least that's my experience, and we'll get into that later. That being said, there are other things you have to be determined about, right? You've got to be determined to be realistic with yourself and be determined to be realistic with those around you, right? You have to be able to make sure that what you're doing is the right thing for you. I am determined to get back to work. To that end, I applied for a job today. Will I get it? I have no idea. I doubt I will. Nice to be considered. Let's be honest. I don't know what that'll look like, but I'm determined to get back to work. This whole sitting at home sucks. But I'm also determined to be realistic about my rehab and my recovery, but I've gotten to the point where I'm kind of done being at home. Like, there's only so much I can do. But I'm going to look into other things, maybe volunteer somewhere for a couple hours a day here and there. Maybe. I'm just not sure if that'll impact my benefits because I'm doing work-ish. So you've got to be determined to be committed to your rehab. You have to be determined to be realistic about your rehab. You've got to be determined to do many things, right? And the more likely you are in your determination, right, the better you are going to be at your recovery, right? So you've got to be able to be determined. And then you've got to be able to maintain that momentum, right? Being determined for a couple of days is great, and then you're going to shit the bed, and it's going to be done, right? You've got to be determined every single day. Now, I'm going to be honest, there are days where I, for whatever reason, did not get out of bed for a good chunk of that day. And it sucks. It is mentally draining, right? You end up with a headache that came out of nowhere that you don't know how to deal with. You're in bed. I was determined that morning to get up and do something, but my body wanted, or my brain had other ideas. But as soon as you are able to get out of bed, you've got to get up, right? Because if you lie in bed 2 to 3 days in a row, you're in trouble, right? You are completely and totally in trouble. And living alone and being single, if I don't get out of bed, no one's going to come and feed me, right? It's not like I have some emergency nurse that I can just like hit a button and it pops like into the room and feeds me and makes my meals. It's not how that works. Part of the determination I've developed is this channel, right? To document my journey. I realize that some of the videos may not be as upbeat, but with your post-stroke recovery world, determination, you have to have it. Like Master Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try. And my physiotherapist, being a geek and a bit of a sci-fi nerd, she will completely understand that. Yeah, do or do not. There is no try. You've got to get up and you've got to do it. You can't try to do it. You can't mimic it. You can't pantomime it. You can't simulate it. There is no phone that in. There's no facsimile. You have to do it. Because if you're just going to try, right, why bother, right? This isn't a try it on and see how it fits, right? You've already bought the suit or the dress or whatever the case may be. You've already bought it and you're already wearing it. It's called stroke, right? So now you got to make sure it fits comfortably, with or without sensible shoes. So at that point, you know, you've got to be determined to get through this. And if you're not going to be determined, you got to find someone who's going to help you, right? Now, is it a friend, family member, or going to therapy, counseling, whatever? I don't know, right? I really don't. But what you have to do is you have to be determined, right? Find a goal, make it reasonable, make it realistic, make it very simple for the first couple of goals. Like, I just want to be able to walk upstairs, right? I want to be able to tie my shoes. I'm still working on the I want to bend over, right? That's a thing, right? I'm still working on the I want to bend over without wanting to throw up or pass out or fall over or fill in the blank. Yeah. So, again, determination, have to have it, right? And I realize that after your stroke, you're going to have more appointments than you can shake a stick at, right? You are going to have more things to do than you've ever had before, and you got to make the most and the best out of every opportunity. So anyways, I'm going to run away and do something now. I don't know what. But if you liked what you watched over the last, I know it's today, 2 months today, right about now, it's now 11:52. Oh, they were probably starting to give me the TPA by now, the Drano for your brain, right? So, 2 months ago today. So, if you like what you've been watching over the past 2 months, please like, share, subscribe with your friends. You know, if you know someone that's recently gone through a stroke or is sort of stumbling through their stroke recovery, please recommend them this to them and let them watch it. Maybe they'll get something out of it. If there's something you would like me to cover, now that I'm seeing comments pop up, please, hey, comment or email me, and I'll do what I can to cover that. I'm going to do a few more of these in the post-stroke, right? What that looks like, and then do some other things as well, right? I'm still working on the stroke recovery for sports analogies. It's mind-numbing. I'm trying to find a way to script it. And none of these are scripted, so it's a bit daunting to get through all of that. But anyways, if you happen to see in yourself or someone around you the signs or symptoms of stroke, that being facial droop, right? Inability to raise both arms equally or effectively, or possibly at all. Inability to smile equally effectively or possibly at all. Slurred, stuttering speech, inappropriate word usage for situation or context, general body weakness, weakness on one side, or inability to stand unaided, please immediately place that person in a position of comfort and dial 911. Something so simple could save a life.